Here with a longtime mentor who was the first advisor to my business, literally changed the game completely. We probably would have gotten nowhere if it weren't for Justin. So I met Justin very early on into OddsJam. He started a big business, had millions of customers, eventually sold that business, Revolution Golf, to NBC.
That's right, yeah.
And you've had a very exciting journey.
It's been a lot of fun. I was fortunate enough to get a LinkedIn in 2016 from a guy who is still a really good friend of mine, still someone I work with today, and said, hey, we've been hearing great things about your business. I'd love to talk to you. And about 15 months after that, sold it to NBC Universal. And
millions of customers, that's crazy.
Millions of customers. Yeah, it was really fun.
I assume it was a journey to get there because you bootstrapped it. No investors.
Totally bootstrapped it. No, we did raise money in a convertible note from friends and family. We never
I was one of those friends.
We never even deployed the capital, and we did it about. Oh, man, it was like maybe 6 months before we sold the business. We gave everybody some accelerated earnings on that because we sold so quick afterward, but really never even used the money.
Yeah. So a lot of the content I do, is on my journey with OddsJam.
Yeah.
The goal is to help new entrepreneurs, new founders, student founders. Again, you helped me so much.
Yeah.
So the entire point of this podcast is ideally just to get those same stories, those same pieces of advice that you gave me that literally changed my entire business mindset to hopefully a lot of people who
Sure.
end up watching this. So I guess the first thing I have is before Revolution Golf, where were you? Where were you in your life? Did you try starting other businesses?
Yeah.
Did they not work? When did you even realize you wanted to be a founder and entrepreneur in the first place?
Yeah, well, before I answer that, I will tell you, I admire so much what you're doing right now because I think that I'm a big believer in entrepreneurs. I believe they make the world go round. I think they're needed more than ever today. And there is nobody in the world who can spread the message better than somebody who's been in the trenches, built a business, exited a business, and then has the experience to go tell other entrepreneurs. So what you're doing is incredibly admirable, and it's it will serve you tremendously well through the rest of your life. So I admire what you're doing.
It's fun content.
It's really cool content. So back to that question, I'll jump right in. I've always been entrepreneurial my entire life. When I was a little boy, my dad took me to the bank and I borrowed $1,200. I know they just co-signed it. My dad just co-signed something. It probably came right out of his account, but he made me put a tie on because there was a concert happening in our local town, and I designed a T-shirt, and I wanted to do a fundraiser with that T-shirt, and I ended up making $5,200, of which
It's not bad.
No, I went and paid the bank back, which, like I said, probably my dad. And then that was I put that money, I'll never forget, I put that money in cash in a tape box and hid it under my bed for quite a while, and then I opened my first checking account. So that was my first ever entrepreneurial endeavor when I was really small. And then went to college, and right after college, found this very interesting time in the world where literally I graduated in 1998, and the internet and e-commerce was just really starting.
Yeah.
And there were companies like Best Buy back in the day in Circuit City that had spun up these e-commerce websites, and they started selling goods, and then they realized that they had to take goods back. People were going to return them, and they had no place for it.
Right.
So there was this marketplace opportunity where I used to buy pallets of returned customer electronics, bring them into a warehouse, and I'd buy them by the truckload. I would take them apart. I'd take all the good stuff out of them, the high dollar products, and I'd put them on eBay. And then all the other stuff I'd repackage into pallets and sell it to flea market vendors in South Carolina. And this was a business, it was like an all cash kind of business.
Yeah. How old were you?
I was like 20,
So you never,
19, 20.
did you ever have a real job?
I never had a real job.
That's the way to do
when
it.
When I sold my business in 2017, I never forget, I had to look up what human resources meant in a company, because I like to tell people I always sign both sides of the paycheck.
Yeah.
And so I had that business, ran it for a while, then they, like the company, the big box retailers realized we had to figure out something better to do with their customer returns. They couldn't lose that much money on it.
Right.
And so they got into a variety of different ways. And so that kind of, like, that wasn't even, I guess it was a business, it was more of a side hustle.
Right.
But I made some real dollars at it. And then I lived in this beautiful coastal town called Beaufort, South Carolina, and started selling real estate because it was kind of an easy thing to do. And I loved shooting video, and I started to shoot video on houses and create these incredible listings. I call them incredible listings, but they were basically a WordPress blog that I attached a YouTube video to. And right after Google bought YouTube, there was sort of like this couple years where if you would, for your keywords, if you would tag them in a video on YouTube, they would drive you top of the search engine of Google. And so I became this pretty successful, fairly successful real estate agent there, where I had the ability to like drive a lot of listings because I was kind of tech driven, if you will, by building these little websites.
So you were hacking SEO basically.
Yeah, I mean, we were building small WordPress blogs with the domain name of the address of the house, and then we were matching up the video with the meta tags for the town, the street, the type of house, and you know, Google had every incentive to drive people to YouTube.
Right.
And so they were absolutely letting you kind of go to the top of the search engine when you did that, search engine of Google when you did that. So it was a hack for sure.
Right. And you ended up using, I mean, is it fair to say video was the main driver of
100%.
Revolution Golf? So
Yeah.
this is kind of when you saw maybe the power of video, the power of YouTube.
I saw the power of YouTube, although I've got another story about that. I saw the power of the internet.
Right.
And I saw the power of like literally people wanting sort of instant access to video information that they could get really quickly. And at the same time, the real estate market was beginning to change. This was like in 2007, before the kind of the crash in 2008.
Right.
And I actually went to a closing in 2007. And I was selling a couple with a combined income, a house. They had a combined income of $175,000. The house was $650,000. They were doing a no money, interest only loan. The appraisal was higher than the purchase price. And so they were putting no money down. And they were closing on a house and they were getting a check back at closing. By the way, that house today sells for about $350,000.
What?
That's almost 20 years later. That's how crazy the market was. And I asked them when they were walking out of the closing, I said, excuse me, do you mind me asking, what are you gonna do with that check that you're getting? They go, we're on our way to Best Buy. We're gonna buy flat screen TVs for every bedroom in the house. And I literally left that closing that day, Alex. I went to my dad's office. My dad is a judge in South Carolina. And I said, Dad, I mean, it sounds like the movie The Big Short, to be honest with you, because I went there and I was like, Dad, I don't quite get what's going on, like, but this ain't gonna work for a long amount of time. And it was my dad who said, listen, you've saved up some money. You can always come back to, and I had told Dad, I've got this idea where I wanna mix the internet and video and golf. And he was like, you've got money saved up. You can always, you're young. You can go try a business, give it a shot. And guess what? If it doesn't work, if you fail at it, you can always come back and sell real estate. Or like, this is not going anywhere.
Right.
And he was the one that kind of gave me a nudge, where a lot of people's parents are like, get a safe job, you know, do this. My dad was sort of opposite of that. He was like, look, you've got an opportunity right now. You don't have family. You don't have kids. You're not tied down to your hometown.
Right.
Go try to build an interesting business. And if you don't, you know how to fall back.
Right.
So that was really motivating when he encouraged me to do that.
Yeah, having supportive parents.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Not everybody has that. But
Should
I
have
was
shorted
lucky.
the housing bubble.
If I was smarter, I would have shorted the housing bubble. There's no
That's
question.
crazy.
Because I saw it coming so hard and so fast. It made no sense. Like how they
It's
were
literally
getting
like a scene out of The Big Short.
it's seen out of it. There was no document income proof loans. They were giving you money back at closing. The appraisers were just giving you whatever you wanted to on these things. And people, your dog could get a loan in 2006, 7, and into 8 before the bottoms hit. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. But it was I look back and it was that kind of crazy time that was like, you know what? It's time to go give this a go.
Yeah. So this was 2007.
Yeah. Yeah. 2008 is when I sort of started to think about building the business. By 2009, I was definitely working on building it and starting to sell some stuff in 2009.
So you knew at this point maybe you wanted to take a break from real estate. Your dad, was encouraging you. Hey, sure, you want to mix golf and media. Go figure it out.
Right.
So what did that kind of look like, even figuring out what is the business I want to start? The very early days, the first month.
Yeah. So early on, I started to, I was like, okay, if I build this site, how do I get a lot of traffic to it? And Google had their ad platform called AdWords. They had two platforms back then. They had AdSense and AdWords.
Right.
And I was like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of entrench myself in learning Google AdWords. I actually bought an information product off the internet that was like this big, thick binder. And it had DVDs in it on how to learn Google AdWords. And I literally every day would spend 3 or 4 hours kind of learning Google AdWords and understanding how to make it work. And I was at this right moment in time where I was able to kind of spin up, it was a WordPress blog. I had shot video with one of my buddy's dads who was a driving range pro.
Right.
Since I was 10 years old, I've been a super passionate golfer. So I know the market, I know the feelings golfers feel, I know how to speak to them, I know what their frustrations are. So I could kind of put together my own copywriting for it and just put it together and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna post some ads on Google AdWords and see what happens. So it was like,
right. So you were the customer.
I was the customer.
That's huge.
I was the customer. I understand the irrational spending decisions people make around the game of golf.
Yeah.
I tell people this story all the time. I remember vividly in college, I had $500 to my name. My truck at the time needed new brakes, but the new Ping driver had just come out. Guess what I spent my money on?
Yeah.
The driver, not the brakes. So I knew how crazy golfers were. I knew how to get into their psyche about it. And my whole thesis was, hey, golfers are always looking to get better. If you can help a golfer get better, they'll know, like, and trust you, and they'll probably do other transactions around the game of golf with you. And the other thing is every golfer's looking to get better. And so if you can deliver them organized information on how to get better in a quick, consumable fashion, I thought I had a shot.
Yeah.
And I actually started by selling DVDs.
So this is, what's the domain? RevolutionGolf.com?
At the time, it was RevolutionGolf.com, yeah.
And you went straight to ads.
I went straight to ads, man.
What were you selling?
I was selling a $67 DVD. And I'll tell you I'll back up just a hair.
Yeah.
I produced these DVDs. I had a company called disc.com out of Chicago, print like 500 of them. So I spent, it was like $1.25 to print them. I was gonna sell them for $69 or $67. Can't quite remember right now. So they got delivered to my house. I like filled a guest room with these DVDs and got everything ready and, went live on the ads. And the first day I sold one. I was like, unbelievable.
Do you remember the first customer?
Yeah, I do remember the first problem. It was somebody out of Wisconsin. I don't remember their names, but I remember it was out of Wisconsin. And I remember, man, I had to go get the box and tape, and I packed that thing and let it fly. And I was like, whoa, that was super cool. Spent literally like $4 or $5 on ads that day. Sold a $69 DVD. So all in, I was under $6 cost. I was like, that works. Next day, I'm refreshing. I don't sell anything. I was like, damn. The next day...
Beginner's luck.
Yeah. The next day, I sold 3 DVDs. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. And there was no competition on Google AdWords. That's the lucky part of my story, is I was able to crack this incredible ad platform with no competition.
Right.
And so I had that sort of proverbial money machine going where I could spend, $150 in a day and sell $600 worth of DVDs.
Right. You're paying per click?
I was paying per click, but the clicks were like, for the same clicks today that are $3, $4 for a click, they were a quarter of 1 penny.
Right.
Because nobody was bidding on these words. It was just me. There was no other golf company. There was no other information product developer that was doing it. It was just
fascinating.
And so I started selling, and then I started selling 300 DVDs a day, 400 DVDs a day, 500. Got to the point where I literally had a 3-bedroom house. Every single bedroom except the one I lived in was full of DVDs.
Same DVD.
DVD. There was a UPS guy whose last name was Logan. I think his name was Scott Logan. He would come 3 times a day to pick up orders. And I had beer and pizza for my buddies, and we'd pack DVDs all day.
You're the only employee.
That's it, person. Dude. I'm just, cash is coming in.
Get beer for your friends.
I'd get beer, I'd order pizza, order chicken wings, whatever. People would come over. We'd pack DVDs. Scott would come and pick them up. And I would literally, let's say I would spend $400, $500, $600 on Google AdWords. I would make, call it $2,000 or $3,000. At 12:01, the merchant processor would drop the money into my account.
Right.
At 12:02, I would pay Google.
Right.
And I'd go to bed.
Right.
And I'd do that every single day.
Right.
And I did that for about 8 or 9 months. And I got up to where I was selling 1,000, 1,500 DVDs a day.
1,000 DVDs a day.
A day, yeah.
So
sometimes $1,500.
$69,000 per day.
Per day.
Like how long into the business was this?
That was probably 7 or 8 months into the business.
7 or 8 months. So your first product, your first DVD, it cracked.
It cracked, but here's where it gets better, all right? So yeah, I'm doing that, and for about 8 months I build up to that. Okay, so I did like, call it 600 grand in a month.
Right.
And I wasn't paying myself. I was just stacking cash. And I sat there one day, and just remember, this is in early 2010 at this point, okay? So really early in 2010, February, March time. I sat down one afternoon. There was no such thing as, Netflix was still, they were sending out DVDs.
Right.
Apple iTunes did not have rental or purchase of videos yet in there. But I sat down and I was like, hey, I wonder if for the same price, knowing that golfers want this immediately, like they legit, because the only question I would get I was running customer service.
Right.
The only question I would get is, hey, can I pay extra to have this overnighted?
Right.
And I thought to myself, dude, I wonder if I could put together it sounds so foreign now, but all the videos, and I could just email somebody the links to each video because there were 3 videos in this, DVDs in this package.
Right.
And I only made it 3 DVDs. It could have been 1, but for perceived value, I wanted people to think they were buying 3.
Right.
So I was like, I wonder if I could just take the links, put it in an email, and when you pay me, I would automatically email you this email.
Right.
And it had the links, and you could start watching it on your computer immediately.
Right.
Remember, this is in 2010.
Right.
Nobody was doing this. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. So literally, I spent probably 24 hours in a row building the links, the whole 9 yards, taking every single ad creative that we had, switching the link to DVD to download, to say downloadable instant access. You'll be watching these videos in the next 40 seconds. Okay?
Just give me your credit card.
Just give me your credit card, buy it now. You'll be watching this. You'll be making your game better in 40 seconds. And I remember, man, I stayed up. It literally took me 24 hours just to check everything. I had everything right the way I wanted it. And I clicked the button, turned it all over, and I went to sleep. And I remember waking up, and my conversion rate had nearly tripled. Same price now. No more Scott Logan UPS.
Right.
No more beers, buddies, and chicken wings and pizza packing the boxes. All of a sudden, the business not only almost it triples in profit,
right,
but all the cost is taken out of it.
Right.
And it allowed me to go, now I can live anywhere in the world because I don't have to package DVDs anymore.
Interesting.
And so literally...
Were you nervous, though, at all when you made that switch?
Hugely.
Because I feel like receiving something physical, like a physical
hugely, but I knew I could go back to it, right? I knew I could flip it back to the DVD. But I didn't have a real way to split test at the time.
Right.
So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna change it to this.
Right.
And literally, I sat there for a week to 10 days going, when is this gonna break? What is gonna happen here? And I never forget, in March of 2010, I did $1.3 million in revenue.
And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but aside from ad spend, it's basically pure profit.
Pure profit. I had a rev share with I had a really too rich of a red share with the pro who did it.
Right.
But other than that,
he loved you.
Oh, he thought I was the second coming.
Right. Because he just recorded some golf videos with you and you had no idea.
I didn't have any idea. He didn't have any idea. And
he's just getting checks.
Big checks. Yeah.
Big checks.
Yeah. That guy went from making not a lot of money on a range, a dirty, hot range, to making over $1 million in 1 year from me. And then I restructured some things and he went away, but it was a great year for him.
So you started the business with, aside from, you didn't pay him anything up front?
No.
Very cheap. Just getting the initial DVDs. That was your startup capital.
That was it.
And the domain name.
Domain name. I paid $300 for Revolution Golf from some domain broker.
It's kind of expensive.
No.
Ossium was 12.
I know. Yeah.
Why are you paying so much?
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I knew you wouldn't like that. But I did pay $300 for the domain name. Yeah, very little. And then I'm not, even to this day, I'm not a flashy person for the most part. So I just stacked cash. And I had the same feeling most entrepreneurs, probably people watching, when it is going good, you have this fear that it's going to be taken from you.
100%.
Right?
Right.
All of us. I have not met an entrepreneur who doesn't have that fear.
No. What if our YouTube channel gets deleted?
Yeah.
What if ads? What if there's an algorithm change?
Yeah.
100%.
So let me say one thing that was really interesting because you reminded me of something. So man, I started spending in 2010 and 2011. I started spending upwards of $1 million a month on Google AdWords. And I was literally doing it with my credit card. I was spending $25,000, $35,000, $40,000 a day, paying it off on my credit card. I get this email one day from Google, and my biggest fear was this, right? I had literally the proverbial, I had all my eggs in one basket.
Right.
I had no SEO.
Right.
I had YouTube, but YouTube was very different then as it is today.
Yeah.
All my eggs were in that basket of Google. And I had this fear that they would be the ones who would shut me off for some reason.
Right.
Or I would violate some terms and conditions that I didn't even know I was violating.
Right.
So I get this email from Google, and it's literally, they're like, hey, we love your business. We want to help you grow. Here's what we'd like to extend you a credit line of $3 million a month. So $36 million line of credit. The only thing you couldn't do is you have to pay us with wire transfer. You can't pay us in credit card anymore. But we'll give you 60 days on your invoice. And I literally remember reading this email, and there's a guy's phone number at the end of it, believe it or not, for people who can't get in touch with people at Google.
Yeah.
And I remember calling the guy and be like, let me understand this right. I could you won't charge my card anymore. You'll extend me a credit card. I'll get an extra 30 days. So I'll have basically 60 days to pay an invoice, which I knew, dude, that was going to be fine.
Yeah.
But the big thing I thought of is like, all right, now I'm in business with Google. You know the old saying, like, you hear real estate investors say this, like, when you owe the bank $5 million, you owe the bank $5 million.
Right.
When you owe them $100 million, now you're in business with the bank.
Right.
I was like, now I'm in business with Google.
Right.
Like, if they're going to shut somebody off, it's not going to be the guy that owes them $2 million that they don't have any recourse against.
Right.
I'm in with them.
Right.
And I made the decision at that time, hey, let's go that route. I'll take you up on that deal. And I never, ever got shut off. But that was a hedge against them doing anything.
Right. So you were an expert in Google AdWords.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, someone types in a query on golf.
Yeah.
And did you have like very targeted keywords? How were you determining how much you were spending per day, how much you were paying per click, all that type of stuff?
So, great question. There are several keywords that were very, very important. Believe it or not, people are searching for pain-free golf. A lot of people's bodies hurt when they play golf. It's a weird motion, a rotary motion. So they're looking for a swing or technique that helps them pain-free. Fix my slice, how to gain distance. Those are always the big ones, like that people are looking for. But really got interesting is the long tail, like really obscure stuff. And I would bid on the keywords that were the most popular. So I'd break out those ads and I would just bid. There was nobody bidding against me. There's literally nobody bidding against me. So I could just turn it up or turn it down as much as I wanted. It was a wild time.
And did you like how many hours per day were you spending just on your Google AdWords optimizing?
Most of the days I was turning stuff off, trying new things, finding new. But here's where it got interesting. So the way it used to work with Google AdWords is, let's say you, and again, this was so early, they obviously have workarounds that don't allow you to do this anymore. But they used to show you the top 10 websites that you were doing the best on. And then what I would do is I would go to those websites and I'd cut a direct deal with them.
Smart.
So for instance, weather.com. Dude, I used to drive probably 500 customers a day from weather.com. If you think about it, it makes sense. A golfer wakes up in the morning, or he's planning a trip. He's like, what's the weather gonna be like? Boom, there's my ad. Well, I literally reached out to them and I was like, hey, I know the game we're in. Google's laying this ad on your site. They're paying you a small portion of what I'm paying them, and they're taking the lion's share of it.
Right.
Why don't we just do a deal? And I did that with like weather.com. I did it with a couple other travel sites. And I was basically cutting Google out, but I was getting the traffic even cheaper.
Right.
So I was doing that kind of stuff. I was trying to figure out Weather.com.
Who would have thought?
I know. So I was just They used to literally tell you where you were doing the best, which was crazy. I guess they never thought some dude like me would just go around them, but I did.
Right.
And I built these sort of, and there were other things that were going on in the space. Like people were desperate. Like there was more inventory than advertisers when I first started. Even like Yahoo used to sell me this remnant space, which was like on Yahoo's homepage back in the day when Yahoo was a big website.
Right.
If they didn't sell their key positions for a weekend, I would just offer them CPMs. Sometimes I'd spend like 50 grand on a weekend with Yahoo, but I'd make 150.
Right.
So I was mostly watching all of that at the very beginning, and it was crazy. I had one product, that's it.
Right.
And then going into 2011, I started building out more products, more instructors, the whole 9 yards.
So what was the reason? Did you ever hire an ads expert first?
I did have a guy who's based in California who was early in the business. He knew a lot about ads, and he would help me. He helped me tremendously. His name is Dean, and Dean helped me tremendously understanding this space, what I couldn't learn. He helped with most of the ads at the very beginning. He helped me shape the ideas of them. We'd work on copy together. But yeah, he helped me a tremendous.
So what did an ad say? Right, I'm on weather.com.
So
what does the ad say?
Great question. One of the things we learned early on in the direct response world, that sometimes ugly ads would outperform pretty ads. And it would often be about fixing your slice, or it would have a stick. One of the best ads we ever had a stick figure drawing of a golfer grabbing his back. And it was like this most clickable, curious thing. And it was like, want to play pain-free golf this weekend? Click here to find out how. Things like that. So you're asking a question in the ad. These things were very old school, like banners and blocks, with almost always text. And what you wanted to do is take the text from the ad and then deliver the answer to the landing page. So we would build these different landing pages. So if you came in on want to play pain-free golf this weekend, the landing page was all about, it's not your fault your back is hurting. It's your technique, that in the way you're swinging the golf club is the reason why. So we always made sure the ad and the landing page were cohesive together.
So how many, like at the peak, how many different landing pages did you
Such a good question, man. We had, at one time, we had several hundred.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And who was helping you design and make all those?
Dean was helping for the most part. They were just different text. So they were the same images and just different basic headlines. And we built landing pages in a way that the ad and the beginning of the landing page was congruent. Right. And then the rest of it was the same for every single landing page we did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So were you surprised that pain-free golf was so big, or did you already kind of expect that?
I was extremely surprised. I was extremely surprised. I thought it would be all about fixing your slice, or hitting the ball farther, which were two very big sectors. Pain-free was really, really big, though.
Interesting.
Yeah, it blew me away. Yeah.
So 2011.
Yeah.
You have, one product that's absolutely cracking.
Yeah.
Your initial thing.
Yeah.
Why even layer on more?
Because I figured, I wanted to bring my customer value up. Like I wanted to sell them more stuff. Plus, I knew that different instructors would be more attractive to different people.
Yep. Makes sense.
Plus, that pro I told you about at the beginning he was like, all of a sudden he was beginning to think that his DVDs were the reason why we were making all the money.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's like, no, bro.
Like, it has to do with the marketing, the audience, the eyeballs that we're driving in there. And so it was a variety of those reasons, but I didn't want, if I could control one way that I didn't want to have my eggs in one basket, was having multiple instructors instead of being dependent on one.
Right.
Yeah.
So you start going to different instructors, men,
Well,
women,
it was crazy. I
older,
mean, I had such a success story, right? People were seeing my ads all over the place. They didn't know who I was.
Right.
But I could reach out to a very famous golf instructor, and he would, they'd be like, "Holy smokes, you're the person behind that?" I was like, "Yeah, and I want to do it for you too."
Yeah. And they love it.
I batted 1,000. I batted 1,000. 1,000%. I never went to one golf instructor that I can recall during those times and said, "Hey, I'd love to put you on my platform," and them saying no to me.
Yeah.
Because I could create this sort of, for a few hours of content creation, I could create a revenue stream for them.
And they get famous.
And they get very famous.
They're going to get people who want to work with them one-on-one.
This was 16 years ago. One particular golf instructor I hear from 3 or 4 times a year to this day in text, and he always starts by saying, "Thank you so much for helping me, my family, and I. You changed our lives."
Right.
Like to this day.
Right.
And he does in the very high 6 figures every year as a golf instructor, which is a nice way to make a living.
Yeah. It's a great way to make a living.
Great way to make a living for a golf instructor. Most don't.
Yeah.
He does.
Right. So you started doing different products. Is it still... It's interesting because so much of this business is education, which obviously was like Odds Jam. It's like you teach people, they'll pay you. People want to learn.
Yeah.
And that's clearly what your business was doing.
But you know what it else does? Sorry to interrupt you. People will, if you can help them or teach them and they get an outcome, they will know, like, and trust you, and they'll be willing to spend more money with you. And I know that what you personally did at Odds Jam, you putting your face to the business, you spending hundreds, thousands of hours showing people how to use the product so that they could become a profitable sports bettor. It goes without saying one of the main reasons why you all had that kind of success. So it's the same idea. It's sort of like...
Same DNA.
Yeah.
Education's powerful.
Education's real powerful. And there's a great book called Reciprocity I can't remember the name of it right now. Robert Cialdini was the writer of it, but it talks about reciprocity. And it's you give to somebody in a good way. When you do ask them to buy, that they're going to be fairly open to it.
Yeah.
You give them a lot of education.
Yeah.
And you say, "Hey, this
people at Odds Jam, they watch 20 YouTube videos before they even consider
before they even think
the
about
site.
it." Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So you start layering on different instructors.
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah.
Is it still solely not DVDs now, but online training?
So this is where the story gets really interesting. So I built, so we had email opt-ins and we had customers. Most days we would bring in through paid, so we would bring them into a funnel, right? We'd bring in 3,000 or 4,000 opt-ins. We'd sell 7 or 8% of them, so we'd, sell 500 customers in a day. And I was building this tremendous email list.
Right.
And they were watching our videos. We were sending them free videos. We were offering them to buy video products from us. And one day I was like, you know what? I bet if we are fully transparent, we could recommend golf equipment, golf training aids, and other e-commerce items to them. Right. And I bet they would buy. And we did. I remember we started, with some training aid, and literally, when we hit send on the email, our website came down. That's how hard people crashed it to buy the product. And all of a sudden, we started selling enormous amounts of product. And I love to tell this quick story that I want to tell you because I think it's awesome part of the entrepreneurial sort of journey I was on. So we're sitting here in LA today, but I used to go down to Carlsbad. That is where all of the golf manufacturing companies, basically, it's sort of the Silicon Valley of golf, if you will.
Okay.
Callaway, Titleist, Srixon, Cleveland, Cobra, they're all located down there.
Right.
tailor-made. They're all their factories, where they ship their product from, their headquarters are located down there. And so I started selling a tremendous amount of training aids. And in 2011...
Can you explain what a training aid is?
Yeah, so a training aid is any sort of gadget that helps you with your golf swing.
Got it.
So we were teaching golf instruction, and we were like, hey, we vetted this instructional aid. We believe it'll help you with your golf game, especially if you're having this problem.
Right.
And people would buy thousands of them. And so we started doing this really big e-commerce business. So I've got content selling in the form of instructional video. I've got training aids going. And then what happened in the golf world was in 2011, this one company, TaylorMade, in 2010 had this crazy successful driver. And they sold over 1 million drivers, which is about 3 times what they normally sell of a new product. So TaylorMade started to up their product cycle. When they did that, every company in golf followed them. What they didn't know is they had a phenomenon on their hands with this, it was called an R11 white driver. So what happened was all the channels got jammed. In other words, there was all this golf equipment in the market and not that many people were buying it.
Right.
So I saw this opportunity to go down to Carlsbad, but I didn't know anybody at these companies.
Right.
And so I went down there and I basically had a business card and kind of a flyer of stuff we were selling. And I would stay in this pretty regular beach hotel, motel, and every morning I would go to one of the businesses and I'd bring in coffee and donuts for the people up front, and I'd sit in the waiting room and I'd ask to speak to somebody in their business.
They didn't know you.
They didn't know
Revolution
me.
Golf?
I didn't know anybody there. I told them about Revolution Golf. I'd outbound, nobody would return my emails.
Internet's foreign to them still.
Yeah, so I'm literally just I'm gonna go sit in their lobby. And the story that really got me going was pretty crazy. I went, and for 5 consecutive days, I struck out. I sat in lobbies all day long. Nobody would see me at all. Fine, and I would bring coffee, I'd bring donuts, I'd try anything. And I'd just sit there all day long. Sorry. I'd sit there for 4 hours at one place, I'd go to another for 4 hours. Ask the lady up front, sorry, everybody's busy, they're in meetings. So I went to this one, Cleveland Shrixon, 3 days in a row. I went Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 5 o'clock, so I'm 12 hours. I've been sitting there 4 to 5 hours a day. I'm into 15 hours. Friday at 5 o'clock, their president is walking out. He sees me in the lobby and he comes over to me and says, hey man, I've seen you here for 3 days. I say, yes sir, I'm just trying to talk to somebody about the e-commerce here. Are you with a company? Yes sir, I'm with a small company called Revolution Golf. We sell mostly instructional content and training aids. But I have an idea how I can help sell what's in your warehouse, what you can't sell, or what's being returned from the big box retailers. He goes, man, you got 10 minutes, I'll walk you back there. We walk into this warehouse. It looks like the final scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where they're putting the tomb up. It is, as far as you could see, racks of golf clubs everywhere. He's like, these things are coming back in as fast as I can send them out because we can't sell them, we've got too much product. I said, so here's the deal. His name's Mike. I said, here's the deal, Mike. If you'll give me 15 minutes right now, I'll go grab, in my rental car, I've got a tripod and a couple mics. We'll do a video about one of your drivers that you're long on. If you can tell me what the inventory is, I can put it together and I can go pre-sell some of them this weekend. And I said, I'll come in Monday and I'll grab them. And I'd already negotiated a store it was a golf store down the road. They had a bunch of warehouse space. And if I sell a bunch of them, I'll move them down there and I'll ship them out of there and I'll pay you your money as soon as on Monday for as many as I sell.
Right.
He goes, great. He goes, let's do a quick video. And he calls over to one of the workers. He says, pull me the inventory on this. They had an old dot matrix printer like at the airport. The guy walks back and he's got this thing. It's like as thick as this.
Yeah.
There's 8,000 drivers. He's like, let's shoot this video for this. He goes, I tell you what, if you can get me $100 a driver for it, they're yours. I just need $100. He goes, you can sell it for whatever you want. So I said, perfect, we'll shoot the video. I said, hey, Revolution Golfers, I'm here today with Mike Powell, this is his name, from Cleveland Shrexon. I want to tell you about this incredible driver that they have, and we have got an exclusive deal only for you all. I'm going to tell you about that at the end. Mike, thanks for having me today. Please tell me about this driver. What's good about this? He goes, we built this technology, it's got this shaft, it's got this grip, it was built for these people. I said, perfect. So we shot that, literally one take, did it. I have the inventory. I go load, I literally don't go to sleep that night. I stayed up all night. I'm staying in the hotel, I extend my hotel stay till Monday. Build a landing page for this driver, use some pictures off the internet, post my video. Saturday morning, I hit send. Over Saturday and Sunday, I sell all 8,000 drivers.
8,000?
8,000 drivers.
For how much were you selling them for?
$150. I put $50 markup. So I make 400 grand, right? Because it was 8,000 drivers, and I made $50.
Not a bad weekend.
Not a bad weekend. So I dump all the money into a Bank of America account. I go to the Bank of America when they open. I have them make me a cashier's check for $800,000 to Cleveland Shrexon, and I show up there as soon as they open the doors. I asked the lady, is Mike Powell there? He says he is. I said, Justin Tupper's here to see him. Unlike the last week where I was sitting in the lobby, here he comes, he opens the door. He opens the door, he goes, how'd you do? I hand him the check, he looks at it, he looks at me, he looks at it, he goes, that's all of them. I said, that's all of them. I said, I'm going to get a U-Haul. I'm going to take 3 trips back. I hired some guys that were hanging out at my hotel, or by my hotel. I didn't know them from Adam. I got in a U-Haul, we stacked it full. We drove it over to this other golf store, and I spent the next 3 days packing boxes, 8,000 boxes, UPSs, 12 hours a day for 3 days. 36 hours into it, we got them all out and shipped. And
how much could someone buy that driver for, like at a Dick's Sporting Goods?
$249.
So it actually was an amazing deal for the consumer.
It was an amazing deal for the consumer. But what was amazing for Cleveland Shrexons, we got rid of all of them.
All their crap.
Out of there quickly. And we didn't do any, it was not on a website. It wasn't on a banner ad. It was on 2 emails. So nobody saw it except our customers, and our customers loved it.
That's crazy.
And that led me, once I had that case study, everybody started letting me in.
Right.
And we started selling e-commerce that way.
Got it. And again, one of the biggest advantages is you had people who 10% of those leads coming in, they already bought the course.
Yeah.
But now you don't have anything.
I don't have anything else to sell.
Right.
They know, like, and trust me, we've helped them with the course. Right. Plus, all the other people that didn't buy the course, maybe they just weren't course people, but they were golfers.
Right.
Because they clicked the ad. Now I'm showing them a great product. They never bought the course from me, but they're going to buy that driver. And that's why it sold so fast.
Right.
It was an amazing deal. I made it like, this is only for you all. When they're gone, they're gone. And I remember, like, I literally had a picture of me holding the inventory. I was like, it's right here, and when these are gone, they're gone.
Was Cleveland whatever Strickland?
Shrexon, it was called.
Is that a big company?
Yeah, it's a real big company.
They want to buy you, or
no? But no,
I bet
no.
They were trying to get you to sell more stuff.
Oh yeah, we sold stuff for them for years.
Right.
Years we did deals with them. We started doing deals with everybody after that, and we were kind of the go-to place to quietly and quickly clear inventory.
Did you ever think about, I guess, verticalizing, like having a Revolution Golf brand, like drivers?
We did.
Whatever.
We did. In fact, had I not sold the business, I probably would have gone in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have probably gone in that direction.
Got it. Yeah. So, I guess were there any? I mean, I know in hindsight it seems like it's success. like you nail AdWords, you
Yeah.
nail courses, you nail courses with different instructors, you nail physical product.
Yeah.
Were there any parts
Totally.
you thought you were screwed or the
Yeah.
business was done?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing I should say is like for the first two, kind of like from 2010 to 2000, call it 12, there was no competition.
Yeah.
And then 13 and 14 and 15, the competition came in crazy.
Because they see you.
Yeah, and just online advertising got bigger. The big boys started advertising. Amazon started selling golf stuff at the time. And the cost of that, those user acquisition costs that once were there, were no longer there.
Right.
All of a sudden, an opt-in that was costing me 25 cents for an email was costing me $4 for an email.
Right.
And so like it got really, really difficult. In fact, that's why I made the pivot to building a subscription continuity program out of our instructions just to bring in reoccurring revenue to help drive that. Because that did get really, really hard. In fact, I couldn't start the business again today. There's no way. I mean, you could do it maybe in another way.
Right.
But you couldn't do it with paid advertising in the way that I did. And so we had, I mean, I don't want to sit here in front of your audience and by any stretch of the imagination say this was all up and to the right and beautiful and daisies and flowers. We had some horribly scary times when things got more difficult. And like I built a business with no fundraising. I went from no employees to 60 employees.
When was the first hire?
First hire was in 2011. First hire was a controller to help me with the finances.
Oh, yeah.
Like come in and help with, all my bills, taxes, state taxes, all that stuff and getting that all under control.
Huh.
And then I had an advisor, like I kind of was to you all.
Yeah.
I had an advisor that helped me go back and renegotiate a lot of my deals.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you do you regret not spending more or working harder during that period of no competition at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I regret it. I went pretty darn hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I rolled the dice hard, man. I like one thing, I knew I had lightning in a bottle and I wasn't scared to press the bet when I was winning, and I was going as hard as I possibly could. So I don't really have a regret. In fact, I would say that the reason why I was able to sustain after that and continue to build is the base that I built during that time.
And when you mentioned once you started selling online, you had the ability to work from anywhere.
Yeah.
So like, where were you during this period? South Carolina?
So I was in South Carolina until that March of 2010. April 21st, I moved to New York City.
What was the benefit of that?
I lived right by a golf course. I had my buddies who liked to play golf,
So a lot personal.
It was personal. It was just, I needed to move. I was like, I've got a chance here to do something. So I'm going to move to New York City. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and I'm going to network and see who I can meet there, and build a business. And like the people that I met and got involved and were able to hire when I went to New York City, one, were really, really brilliant people. I would have never met them ever in my life had I stayed in a small, sleepy town, a beautiful town in South Carolina.
Right.
But I went to where the talent was.
Right.
And when I would show people my business, they were amazed by it. And one thing that's great about golf is if you have a great golf business, people want to hear about it that play golf.
Right.
And a lot of people in New York City that were successful and who have had built businesses or are entrepreneurs play golf. So it was like a really interesting place to build a business that was around golf.
Do you think though you could have gotten the business close to as far if you just stayed at home? No. Okay.
No, my first hire was sort of our accountant controller.
Right.
Then I hired a COO, who's this woman named Lisa Mitchell, who had been an early employee at RIM at BlackBerry. She had gone to business school at Columbia. She's still a dear, dear friend. unbelievably smart, like a million times smarter than I am. She was incredible for helping build the business from that perspective. I would have never met her.
She's in New York.
She's in New York.
She golf? How did you
She
meet her?
golfed.
Got it.
She golfed. So I guess I should say early on when I moved to New York, I met a guy named TJ Corella, who at the time he was a managing director at Goldman Sachs. Met him at a dinner, kind of with other people. Happened to sit next to him. He asked me about my business. I explained it to him. He's like, what? I was like, man, you should come by this was like on a Friday night. He's like, you should come by on Monday. I'll show you what it goes on. Like literally, I remember that Monday at like 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting a text from him. Hey, I'm in a car on the way to the city. Can I stop by your apartment? I brought him in. I had 3 screens up. I'm showing him where we're spending money, how we're doing the ads, where we're fulfilling, how we're selling all this stuff. And he was like, what the hell, man? And I was like, yeah. He's like, he starts asking me all these questions. I'm like, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about building the business that way. I haven't thought about that. And I'm like, I'm just in the thick of it.
Right.
And he was like, it was kind of like, it was exactly how my mentorship with you started.
Yeah.
He was
You're like, you're screwing everything up.
well, no. He was like, you don't need my capital because you guys are making
Right.
capital.
Yeah.
But like, you could use an advisor here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I sure could. And
Yeah.
he was like, well, listen, he was like, I'll come in and be that person. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my life, having him. And then he was just like, but I do want to put some skin in the game. And so like, literally I was like, okay, I did like, I don't even call it raising. He just kind of bought into the business.
Right.
Secondary.
Right.
And it was the best decision I ever made. He helped me with every hire along the way. It was crazy. Yeah, so cool.
So first employee was 2011, controller.
Yeah.
How, I guess, like, who were the next employees? How did you get to 60?
Yeah, so then, we started needing people to help create the content, and we had a video team that we were shooting with all the time. We needed other kind of people that were helping with our ads, helping do all those deals with the golf club companies and the manufacturers and the training aid companies where they were out doing that stuff. Then we started selling like real ads, like to real companies. Our first, we had Porsche, we had, vodka companies, other people that wanted to get in front of these golfers. So we had a sales team of those people going out there as we were building.
Right.
So we were kind of just like, hiring along the way. We had our CTO, then we needed a CTO. I mean, so much stuff is out of the box now. Like what we spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on, you can go sign up right now to a software solution platform for $20 a month and a half. So we were like, gosh, if I could have all the money back that we used to develop software.
Right.
But so we had technical teams, developers, we had all of that stuff. So it just, people, it just created, to build, we just needed people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So online courses to physical.
Yeah.
Any other interesting stories on growing the business?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a funny one. Like, so 2000, this is a pretty interesting one because that later had something to do with Odds Jam. So in 2013, we were spending money on AdWords still like crazy. And one day my controller called me and she was like, hey, and it was going into the winter and golf seasonal. She was like, hey, I just want to tell you, like, I was just going over some stuff and our next Google bill is like $885,000. And she's like, on top of payroll and everything else we're going, we're really short on this cash flow crunch right now. And this was on a Friday, right? This is when everybody wants to hear the news.
Right.
She was like, we have till like next Wednesday that invoice is due, and we need to figure out how to get this paid. And I was like, okay. And she was like, oh, and by the way, like payroll's going out today, so we're gonna be pretty limited at that time. So I was like, all right, okay, I'll figure it out. And I'll never forget, that Saturday morning, I went to Central Park and I was kind of getting ready to go for a jog. And I was like, you know what? We've got all these customers. They're like, they don't like reoccurring billing. They don't like monthly. They don't like yearly. I know, like, I could go to these people right now, and some percentage of them would buy like a lifetime membership to Revolution Golf. And I'll call it like Revolution Golf VIP, and I'll charge like $397, and you never get another bill, and you just get everything that we sort of are putting out in our subscription business.
Right.
So I literally got home from that run, took a shower, propped up my laptop in my office, threw a light on my face, and came up with a pitch. And the pitch was just honest. It was like, hey, this is going out to all of you Revolution Golf Plus members. I see your emails. I read your emails. I know there's a lot of you that are members that don't want to see reoccurring billing.
Right.
And so I've put together a program that's $397. You pay it today. You'll never not get another bill from us for Revolution Golf Plus. I can't quite recall. It was either $297 or $397 for this lifetime subscription. Sent it out at 7. I was at the gym. I put my phone up. I wasn't going to look at it because I used to look at the sales coming through.
Yeah. It's fun to do that.
It is really fun. And so I worked out for an hour, and I remember I hit the button on my phone, and I looked, and we had sold 300 people. It was $297. It was $300, and we had sold 300 people, so we'd raised $90,000 roughly
in an hour.
In an hour. And by the end of 2 days, I had sold 3,000 people into it and raised 4,000 people, and I'd raised $1.2 million.
Wow.
And we paid that bill on time.
Wow.
And those
was that the start of? But you already had subscription.
I already had subscription, but I remember at Odd's Gym when I was like, you guys got to get a premium, top, high tier ticket item.
Yeah.
A certain percentage of your people will pay for it.
Yeah.
If you give them some extra bells and whistles, give them a reason why.
Yeah.
That's where I came up with that theory, and it has worked time after time in every single business that I've ever consulted or helped on. There is always, if you have a subscription-based business, you can always turn out a premium subscription, and you'll get roughly 10 to 15% of your customers. They just have to be part of the premium offering.
Right.
And so it's a really good way to kind of find quarters in the couch if you have a successful business.
So, physical product, let's go back though for a sec, right?
Yeah.
Online courses to physical product and whatever.
Training
2011.
Training
aids. So you kind of went, Course Revolution brings you here in revenue.
Yep.
You have a nice leg up, maybe plateaus a bit or?
A little bit, yeah.
Then you had physical. Then
we had subscription.
What made that decision, and when was that relative to your Carlsbad warehouse?
Yeah,
experience?
So that was, the last was subscription, was 2013 is when we launched that.
Oh, okay.
And that was the subscription side of things. That again was before Netflix was doing subscription. It was before there was really any streaming subscription. I just thought that there was probably an opportunity to build that. And we launched that. In the first week, we added 15,000 people into that.
Right.
And that was like $129 a year product.
Huh.
And then we got up to 30,000. And I did the what we called the lifetime for that $297. But then over that time of business, I ended up building that to like 80,000 people. So it was about $10 million a year in reoccurring annual revenue. But here's what I also learned. I also learned that the subscribers, they spent 10 times as much money on all the other products.
Right.
So all I was doing is, it was like I was literally just pulling those people over here, making subscription, and then selling them a lot more stuff.
Right.
So, and that was kind of, that's what kind of took me up into the right from that side of things. The reoccurring revenue obviously made good to forecast against. And then the other nice thing, I mean, that's what ultimately got it acquired, is when I got that LinkedIn I talked about at the beginning of this interview, and I got an LinkedIn from someone at NBC. That's what they were after. They were after reoccurring revenue.
So, but was the driver for subscription, you mentioned Google started to get more competitive.
Yeah.
Was that one of the main drivers for even doing it in the first place?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, look, I'll put more easily put, as the competition for user acquisition price went up, I needed to find ways to create bigger lifetime value of the customer.
Totally.
Because when I knew what my lifetime value of customers would be, that allowed me to start bidding higher and higher and higher, which helped me keep a moat around the business, because new entries all of a sudden with their idea that looked like mine would come into the space. They couldn't compete for those keywords because I could continue to drive them up because I knew what my lifetime value. So my game then became keep doing whatever you could to build on the backside of lifetime value. So I could continue to buy more traffic.
Very interesting.
Because right or wrong, I had no SEO. I tell you what I did have that I elected to move away from, probably in hindsight a huge mistake. In 2012, I had a YouTube channel in golf that had 380,000 subscribers to it.
For Revolution Golf.
For Revolution Golf. It was by far, it had to be one of the largest subscriptions of any YouTube channel out there. We pretty much abandoned it because we wanted a video player that we could sell ads in front of, because at the time YouTube wasn't doing ad sharing. And so we went to something called Bright Cove as a video player, so that we could put pre-roll ads in front of it, because YouTube wasn't in that space. But I often think about, if we had not done that and we had, been the first YouTube channel to have, 1 million subscribers and so on in golf, it would have been pretty awesome. But I don't know, it worked out still.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So you started the business pretty young.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What did you need to learn or pick up on the job to go from, basically being a real estate agent who's making some money to running a big company?
I think I had to learn lots of marketing. I had to learn customer acquisition, the science of that, getting customers in the door. And then we were just talking about a second ago, you have to, if you are paying for customers, you have to know how much you can pay for those customers. That sounds like the biggest no kidding thing that you could ever say. So many businesses don't understand what their LTV is, what their lifetime value on that customer is. I think that's what I had to learn. I'd tell you the other thing that I had to learn too, and just because there weren't many people to learn from in this space, when you're building a digital subscription program, and I know you know all about this, at the beginning of it, we just think, oh gosh, how do we get the customers? Getting the customers is actually the easy part. Retention of the customers is the hardest part. Churn is the hardest part. I had to learn to be, what I learned was to be a churn expert in my business, in my space. To this day, we have when I sold Revolution Golf, it became something called Golf Pass, which is still thriving. I will tell you, our customer churn rate, our retention rate, is about 74%, which is really high in the subscription business, year over year. If you can keep your retention rate high, and you're still, the analogy is you can pour water into the bucket, you don't have holes in that bucket, you're going to do really well. And so I had to really learn about retention the hard way. Because all of a sudden you're like, wait, where'd the money go? We just brought in all these people, but they're canceling left and right. You have to really build a business that retains people.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So you started subscription, and people with this subscription, they're basically getting more online training.
They're getting more online training. They're getting more online training. They're getting access to all these deals that we have first. So in other words, if we would get 10,000 training aids, often I would put them in front of the Revolution, our subscribers, and they'd buy them all.
Right.
They'd never even hit my big email list. So literally, I'd have 80,000 Revolution Golf Plus members. I'd have 2 million email subscribers that weren't paying us subscription.
Right.
About 70% of the deals that I brought in never even got to those people because it would sell out first.
Wow.
With the RG Plus subscribers.
Wow.
So they were getting first access at these incredible offers and deals.
Right.
They were getting all this training. We then built golf schools, like not physical ones, but we would have our instructors do these golf schools at these locations. RG Plus people, our subscribers, they would get enrollment first. It would never even make it outside. Right. So they would get to go to these interesting golf schools at these beautiful places all over the country.
Right.
We curated golf travel for them, golf trips, golf meetups. We just like turned them into this really huge community. Right. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that was before there were social media was not big at the time. In fact, we did very little social media marketing outside of YouTube. I mean, really,
it wasn't TikTok.
It wasn't TikTok. Facebook had started, but it wasn't a big place for it. In fact, until selling the business, we had just gotten into some Facebook advertising in 2015, 16, 17. It was going well, but we sold the business in 2017.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's one lesson you learned from somebody building Revolution Golf that, maybe made or just helped the business reach a new level? So I'll give you an example. Like for us, you drove me to start doing content in the first place, which ended up being a massive unlock for the business.
Huge.
We may have never made $1 million if it weren't for you kind of pushing us to start creating content and owning our own destiny in that way. I guess, what was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was we've talked a little bit about this, but I knew the numbers really well in the business. And I know that sounds like, no kidding, everybody should. But I knew the importance of continuing to know your numbers so that you could acquire these customers in a financially, responsible way, so that you could build the overall pie, so that you could bring more opportunity into there. Right. I mean, I think to this day, I meet entrepreneurs all the time and I ask them what their customer acquisition costs. They don't know it. Right. What's your lifetime value of a customer? I don't know it. Right. What basis are you making decisions on then, right? It goes kind of one of the biggest things is the guy Dean I talked to about early on, who helped me with advertising. It came from a book that he had read by Jim Collins called Good to Great. But it's a saying that every entrepreneur needs to know, and it is, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right? And too many people are not measuring everything they need to so that they can manage to those measurements when they're building a business. Right. And, if you don't know that, then you're in big trouble and you can't scale, in my opinion, if you're paying for every customer. Right. Right. Yeah, I think that helped. That was advice that I learned early on that was very, very helpful. Yeah, for sure. Got it.
That's very, very, very true.
Yeah.
A lot of people fly blind.
That's, by the way, we use that all the time. Yeah. Flying, it's like your plane's in the air, you don't know where you're going, you don't even see the instruments. Right. And you can get in a lot of trouble. We got in trouble a few times. I'm not going to sit here and say we were perfect about it. But yeah, a lot of people fly blind, man. Right. When all that data is attainable.
Yeah. So NBC reaches out. Yeah. What year is this? And
they reached out in 2016.
Was this the first even legit acquisition?
You know what was crazy? Yes, but after them, within 4 months, I had Condé Nast used to own Golf Digest. They reached out. Steve Ross, who owns the Dolphins, and he owns something called RSE Ventures. His guys reached out to invest or buy. Another New York City entrepreneur who was accumulating golf businesses reached out. The PGA Tour reached out. So literally, I had not gotten an inbound. I had not really thought about selling the business. NBC reaches out, and it's almost like after that, I didn't even say anything to anybody. I started this conversation. Everybody, it was just like, it was this time where golf was at this point where we were very disruptive. We were starting to grab advertising dollars from those companies. None of them had subscription businesses. So we were this disruptor, and everybody started reaching out to think about acquiring us. And it started with NBC. I met with every single one of those people. They're all perfectly nice people, perfectly fine people. But the team that was run by this gentleman named Will McIntosh, who I am still very good friends with and work with day to day, our relationship that we built was really important to me selling the business.
Right.
And, I credit him with the reason I sold the business to them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you think, you mentioned everyone starts reaching out at the same time.
Yeah.
What do you, was there press about you that you think got you on the map?
I think a few things. I think that all those companies I just spoke of were going to their advertising partners or the golf manufacturers, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to spend more money with us," and they were like, "We can't. We just carved off some of this ad spend to Revolution Golf," and they're like, "Who?" And they started hearing that. They had seen our ads. There was a bit of a buzz about the stuff that we were doing in the industry, in the training aid space. And so we were definitely gaining that kind of speed from that perspective. And then personally, I was at this inflection point where I was like, to really go build this business, maybe I should go raise $20 million or $30 million. And I was sort of having those thoughts. I was in New York City. I can't tell you how many investment bankers that I would meet. And they're like, "Hey, if you ever want to go raise some capital, call me first." Everybody was in line.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe that's what I should do. But then a really wise person told me, and I know I've repeated those words to you often, it ain't how much you, it's how much you keep, not how much you make.
Right.
And meaning, I could go raise a bunch of money, lose control of this business I had built, have my equity massively deteriorate through this money that I would be not really pulling chips off the table for myself. I'd actually be reinvesting it in the business.
Right.
And I could wake up one day working for some private equity company.
Right.
With having a lot less fun.
Right.
Hoping they're pressing me to go sell the company so that they can get their money back out.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know that I want to do that.
Right.
And it was just the right time. Everything felt right. NBC was like, "Hey, we want to buy this thing outright. We don't want to give you an earn out. We don't want to do any of that. We just want to write a check." And that wise words that reminded me it's not how much you sell it for, it's how much you keep.
Yeah.
Started to enter my brain a lot.
Right.
And I had a huge majority ownership in the business. I mean, in a big way. So.
Right. So they buy it outright.
Yeah.
It's life-changing money.
Yep. Totally.
You could be on a beach in the Maldives. You could run off wherever.
Yeah.
You're still at NBC.
Still there.
You just love the people and the business.
I love the people. The business is still thriving and growing big.
Right.
I have the ability to advise and invest in other stuff, so my entrepreneurial spirit stays alive. I am not a retirement guy.
Yeah.
I am a restart guy.
Right.
I will probably restart a few more times, Lord willing, but I won't. There will never be a day where I'm in the lazy boy, where I'm playing golf 5 days a week.
Right.
I want to continue to build, advise, add value and share my knowledge forever. I just find so much enjoyment in that. I mean, what you and Ankit provided to me with OddsJam, allowing me to be an advisor with you all, I've never said it enough to you, how greatly I appreciate it. And I don't mean anything monetary. I mean the part that, like, the calls that we would have.
We had fun.
Dude, we had so much fun. And I mean, the look in you guys' eyes when we talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And what made
Us
you
being so green.
So green, but so you just did it. If I told you, if I was like, guys, this works, it wasn't pushback. It wasn't, we'd like to do it our way.
Yeah. We're on
You
it.
trusted me enough to really like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you in 5 days. I'll be back to you in 5 days. And then it would work, and I'd gain a little bit more equity, you know, with you, and something else would work, and be like, okay. I'd gain some more trust, and so on and so forth. But it was so fun taking my learnings that were painful and providing it to an entrepreneur like you, who would trust it and just go do it and try it. And not all of it worked, but enough of it worked where I think that, like, you guys were like, all right, we should probably listen to this crazy dude.
Yeah.
And
It worked.
that to me, like, I remember telling my wife, like, after our third or fourth time together, maybe it was after you both came and visited Orlando. I remember telling my wife, I was like, those guys, you wait, watch. She's like, really? And I was like, no, watch. And literally it was like 3 years later or 4 years later, you know, that you guys built this incredible business.
Yeah.
It was
Couldn't have
fun.
done it without you.
Well, it was fun.
So you decided to sell the business.
Yep.
Why?
Because frankly, the price and my position in it, like I was like, I could go raise, you know, I'm making these numbers up.
You didn't need to raise.
No, but I mean, I kind of wanted to go see how disruptive I could be.
I see.
You know, and there were some very interesting people that wanted to put some money together.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can go do this. And so, like, I started thinking about that. And I also, like, I chose to only build in one vertical in golf. Many people have asked me, why didn't you go do this for tennis? Why didn't you go do this for other things? I just knew what I knew, and I wanted to stay in that lane. And I was kind of feeling like that I was sort of almost to the top tick of the market in this particular space. Yes, maybe I could go raise some more money, create an even bigger channel, and do something different. But at that time in 2017, when I looked at, like, okay, if I raised 20 million, gave up so much equity in the business, had other owners, had a board that I needed to answer to, all that, if that all went really well and I could go sell it for X, like, my portion, I'm thinking about myself, would be sort of X amount. And then, but then the number that NBC was able to get to me when I had majority ownership in the business, and I could go, then they offered me the ability to go build the business. And so I literally went there and I was like, I'm gonna go do this for 3 years. They wanted me to sign a 5-year contract. I said, no way, I'm not working for anybody for 5 years. I said, I'll give you 3. Actually, I told them I'd give you 2, and they said, well, how about 3? And we ended on 3. But then it's just been fun. Like, I have had so much fun building business.
LA,
yeah, now I work with, I work in the movie business.
Right.
I love movies. I work in the golf business. I still love golf. You know, Rory McIlroy is one of the owners in Golf Pass now. I get to spend a tremendous time around who I think will go down as one of the greatest golfers ever. Mm-hmm. He's a wonderful person to be around. He's a wonderful business partner. His team are some of my closest friends now. I get to go to all these sporting events that are absolutely insane, that I enjoy greatly, take clients to, and I get paid to do all of that. And, like, it's really fun. And so, Yeah, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
And like every once in a while I'll go, maybe I should go do something different. And maybe that time will come.
Right.
But for this moment right now,
No.
I'm having a lot of fun. And I still and look, meeting you and advising and having other sort of advisory stuff that I still talk to entrepreneurs all the time.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's the only other thing that I'd want.
Well, you explore new products because we launched and you signed up within, probably the first month.
I did.
It must have been, I don't even know how we got to you so quick.
I did. I was fascinated by that space. I was looking around. I was poking around the space, in the space you're in. I signed up. I could probably find the email. I canceled.
Yep.
You reached out.
Yep.
I was like, hey.
Why'd you cancel?
You were like, why'd you cancel? I was like, it doesn't work in Florida for me. But let me tell you something. I sent you like a link to an article about me selling the business. I said, I just built a business very similar in the golf space. I think I could help you.
And you did.
A couple of days later, we were on the phone. Yeah.
Worked out.
Yeah.
So, I guess final things.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, appreciate your time.
Of course.
Obviously, it's a very different world, even from 4.5 years ago when we started OddsJam, AI, Claude, Anthropic, OpenAI, everything. I guess, what advice do you give? You mentor, you invest in a lot of companies, a lot within sports, different industries.
Yeah.
What advice do you give to new founders or people who want to build?
Get profitable. Sell something. Make some money. First and foremost.
See some bucks.
Fuck, ring the register. How many times have you heard me say ring the register?
Probably.
Yeah, you
thousands.
guys used to make fun of me for it, and that's okay.
No, it's true. That was a great saying, and then pick up the quarters.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you try selling that 50% off, even if, pick up the quarters.
Quarters in the couch.
Bring in the revenue, quarters in the couch.
Yeah. My dad told me fast nickels are better than slow quarters. It's a good saying. I tell any entrepreneur, go make some money, go sell your first product, go give me a little proof of concept about what you're talking about. In this day and time, just like you said, holy smokes, you can develop, you can build, you can host, you can put a business together. Enough of a business to sell 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 widgets or whatever you're selling, or subscriptions or whatever, and that should give you an idea. I'm not trying to tell you, like so many great businesses have launched and didn't sell anything for a while. Most of them nowadays, you can build a compelling enough product very quickly, very bootstrappy, enough to go make a couple dollars.
Right.
And if you can do that and you can prove it, there's guys like yourself and there's guys like me who have enough experience, resources, capital, whatever you want to call it, to help you build from there.
Right.
And then you and I both see it all the time. We live in this crazy world where these entrepreneurs are like, I want to go raise a bunch of money real quick right now. And a lot do. And a lot have been very successful doing that. I don't want to dare get that shoved back in my face. I'm not saying that's not a route to take.
Right.
I'm just saying we also see them where go make a little bit of money and then let's talk. And maybe you don't need to raise a ton of capital at the beginning.
Right.
Because I always felt really proud about that. And it's not even a pride thing. It was also it made me super tough. Having to eat my own cooking, create my own cash flow, do those things that are important from the beginning, as opposed to just raising money. I've seen a lot of people get lazy when they raise money.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fact that the biggest companies all raise money.
No question.
Even Elon, right, he's getting investors in Tesla when you need hundreds of millions of dollars, or an Uber.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you bootstrap, whatever exit is basically, it could be, for you, a solo founder, bootstrapped exit, you don't need a $10 billion outcome for a life-changing outcome.
To make a lot of money. So, that's the other thing, is people nowadays, entrepreneurs, they think of the unicorns is all they think about.
Right.
oh, but this person did this and they raised this amount of money and they sold it for this.
Right.
There are infinitely more stories of people like myself,
Right.
or even smaller than me,
Right.
that have built really nice businesses.
Right. Big businesses.
And big
to be
businesses.
clear. Yeah.
Sold them for a lot of money and kept a lion's share of the dough.
Right.
And they're out onto their next thing and they're doing something else.
Right.
I remember talking to you and Ankit when you guys were going through your process of selling the business. And I said to both you guys in separate conversations, I know this is life-changing capital that you're going to sell for. But I know I've learned enough about you two guys. This ain't the last money you're going to make. It's not the last business you're going to build.
Right.
I just know that too much about you guys. I don't know if you're going to build one from scrap again. You're going to invest. You're going to build. You're going to do something. But you ain't getting out of the game after this.
Yeah.
And so, like, I tell people, like, you know, you can raise. And look, people have raised that way. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs should just get used to selling something
Right.
that they build.
So make progress.
Make progress.
Make a few dollars online before you start.
Make a few bucks. Have a few customers. Learn from those customers and take it from there. Don't get me wrong. People are going to go raise. They're going to build some, you know, some fintech company. They're going to raise some, you know, something in the healthcare space. I get it. Not all of those businesses can be built like that.
Right.
But for the majority of entrepreneurs who are listening to this or watching it, for the majority of them,
Right. The vast majority.
the vast majority,
Yeah.
go sell first. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. Any
That's what
other-
you did.
What?
You did
That
that.
is what I did.
Yep.
That's basically all I got. Unless you have any other interesting
No.
pointers for
No.
invest in a ton of companies. You see a lot.
Yeah,
of
I mean, I just think, like, look, I think this is the most, look, I'm sure every person that likes to invest and build businesses through time has said this is the most interesting time that's ever existed, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure before, you know, back in the late 90s, people were like, this internet thing's amazing.
Yeah.
Before that, there's industrial revolution. There's been times of all. But man, I can honestly tell you, like, right now, I know, like, I don't think that the speed of business building has ever been where it is today.
It goes both ways.
It does.
It's
That's
incredibly scary.
But that's the other thing I was just about to say.
Yeah.
I also don't know a time when you can be building something and it become obsolete as quickly as it has been.
Like Figma.
Exactly.
A long list of
it. Like, and I think we're in that time.
big companies.
Big companies.
90% market cap gone with a few updates from these AI companies.
I know.
It's crazy.
So
It's weird, man.
Yeah, it is a weird time. It's weird, like, it's weird in that it's incredible, but it's also weird that you could be cruising along
Right.
and out of nowhere, there's an update and you're out of business.
Because I think we were both, I mean, we were definitely early in sports betting and
Yeah.
also pre-AI, so there's
Yeah.
more of a technical mode or
Yeah.
whatever. You, at the same time, you got a lot of your head start before people really caught on to
Online
Google
advertising,
AdWords.
no question. So it's like I think every builder or founder who does something successful, they had a window.
Right.
And right now, I feel like that window is really short for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I don't know the advice that I would share right now. I would just keep your head on a swivel if I'm building something at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, more than ever.
I think that, I agree. I think also just don't burn too much cash,
I agree.
especially if you raise or have some profits.
Yep. Yeah, no question. It's
Okay.
been great, man.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
You changed, Odds Jam completely. So
Well-
I forever thank you for that, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to get value from this.
I hope so. All right.
Okay.
You're the best, buddy.
That was great.
Yep.